Hi, it's Matt here again. Hope you're doing okay today. And again, if you need anything, whether it's a food delivery or a phone chat or whatever it is, get in touch. Get in touch with me or through the church office. Um, Today I want to share another little bit of the Bible with you. This bit is in Philippians. So a letter that Paul wrote to the church as it was in the city of Philippi. And he wrote it while he was self-isolating. Well, sort of. He was actually in prison. Which makes the letter stand out quite a lot because he goes on about joy loads in what you would think is a situation where you would not have a lot of joy. And in chapter 4 he says this: "Rejoice in the Lord always. I'll say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." The idea that we would rejoice in God all the time, you read that and at first it seems really odd. Why would you delight in God's existence and nature when the circumstances of your life are not good? If, like me, you're sat at home right now feeling a bit useless, you might be getting into the mindset of thinking, nah, what's the point? I'll just do nothing. One of my favourite authors, a bloke called Tim Keller, has this great quote, and he says this: "If this life is all there is, then everything will eventually burn up in the death of the sun, and no one will even be around to remember anything that has ever happened. Everyone will be forgotten, nothing we do will make any difference, and all good endeavours, even the best, will come to naught." Sounds positive, doesn't it? Unless there is God. If the God of the Bible exists, and there is a true reality beneath and behind this one, and this life is not the only one, then every good endeavour, even the simplest ones, pursued in response to God's calling, can matter forever. That is what the Christian faith promises. If God is real, and he is who he says he is, there is every reason to perk up, to celebrate, and to use an old-fashioned word, to rejoice. The way this passage is written, our choice to rejoice is meant to spill over into how we feel day to day. I'm very aware that the word anxious or anxiety can have quite a big range in how we think of it, from just a bit of nervousness to all the way to sort of crippling mental health struggles. And many of people, of course, struggle with anxiety already, and I can imagine this present situation only exacerbates that. Of course, there's no magic instant solution, but there is some practical advice. The heart of anxiety is a fear about future outcomes that you can't control. And of course, that can't be changed. We will all have future outcomes we can't control, just things we don't know are coming. But if you're in a place where you can honestly articulate what you are anxious about to God, with an eye on thankfulness, because that always changes your perspective, the promise here is that you will experience the peace of God in everyday life. I love that the passage actually says, this peace transcends all understanding. It doesn't make sense. It's illogical to our circumstances. We don't know how it happens. But we do know something of the why. Paul says it's in Christ Jesus. We can experience the peace of God because on the cross, he didn't. Jesus could control every outcome and did not need to experience anxiety or pain or anything else. But he chose the isolation of the cross so that we didn't need to. He faced the worst possible outcome so that we don't need to fear it. So today, why not get really honest with yourself and speak to God about what's bothering you, whilst also being thankful for the good things you have, and see how all of that does your soul good. See how that brings you peace. Once again, do be in touch and know that myself and other Maybridge leaders are praying for you. Have a good day.